What are you actually trying to achieve with your life? Not the surface answers, the job, the relationship, the house, but underneath all that striving, what's the real goal? And more importantly, once you know what you're really after, do you know how to get there? Today's chapter cuts through all the noise to ask perhaps the most fundamental question a human being can ask. What is the point? And how do we actually get there? This retelling has been adapted for modern audiences. Based on J.L. Shastri's English, Vyasa began his narration after hearing Suta's previous words. The great sages, those souls who had purified themselves through intense spiritual practice, felt something stir within them. They weren't satisfied with just hearing stories anymore. They wanted something deeper, something that would cut to the very heart of existence itself. The sages asked, "O Sutha, please narrate the wonderful Purana that fully treats the essence of Vedanta, that philosophy which addresses the ultimate questions of existence." Very delighted at the request of the sages, Sutha meditated deeply on Shiva, gathering his thoughts and connecting with something beyond his individual consciousness. Then he spoke to them. He said, contemplating on Shiva, who is free from all ailments, all limitations, all suffering. May you all hear this Shiva Purana, the foremost amongst Puranas, that amplifies the very essence of the Vedas themselves. This is where the sacred trio is proclaimed: Bhakti, loving devotion; Jnana, direct wisdom and understanding; and Vairagya, that rare quality of non-attachment, the ability to hold things lightly without being enslaved by them. Here, the object which is knowable only through Vedanta, that which can only be understood through direct spiritual insight rather than mere intellectual study, has been particularly described. So please, hear this Purana that embodies the very essence of all Vedic wisdom. Sutha began the deeper teaching. Listen carefully now. Formerly, when many kalpas, vast cosmic time cycles, eons upon eons, had elapsed, and this current kalpa started with a fresh process of creation, something interesting happened. A great dispute arose amongst the sages of 6 different clans, each representing different philosophical schools and approaches to understanding reality. They held divergent views as to which understanding was correct, which path was superior, which teaching was ultimate truth. These sages, to their credit, recognized that they needed a perspective beyond their own limited viewpoints. So they approached Brahma, the creator, the cosmic principle of manifestation itself, to ask him about the imperishable, the unchanging reality behind all changing forms. All of them, with palms joined in reverence, addressed the Lord Brahma with words carefully chosen to express their genuine humility and burning need to know. Thou art the creator of the entire universe, the cause of all causes, but we need to know, who is that being older than all principles? Who is the greatest of the great? What's the ultimate reality behind even you, the creator? Vyasa narrated Brahma's response, and you can almost feel the weight of it. Brahma said, that from whom words recede, not approaching him even with the mind. Something so fundamental, so primordial, that even our most sophisticated concepts and language can't quite capture it. That from whom this entire universe, beginning with Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra, Indra, along with all elements and all sense organs, is evolved at first. Every principle, every force, every atom of existence emerges from this source. He is the Lord Mahadeva, the Omniscient, the Lord of the universe. He can be realized by supreme devotion and not by other means. Sutha paused here to let that sink in, then continued with Brahma's words: Rudra, Hari, Hera, and other lords of the gods, even the highest cosmic principles and powers, are ever desirous of seeing him, moved by great devotion. Even these great beings are seeking deeper connection with this ultimate reality. Of what avail is a verbose statement? Let me be direct. One is liberated by devotion unto Shiva. But here's the beautiful paradox. Devotion to the deity is due to his grace, and his grace is due to devotion. It's like how the seed gives rise to the sprout, and the sprout produces the seed. You can't separate cause from effect. It's a circle, not a line. Hence, O sages, all of you must descend to the earth, ground your spiritual understanding in lived experience. To propitiate the Lord, you have to perform a sacrifice of long duration, 1,000 years of dedicated practice. It is by the grace of Shiva alone, who will be the presiding deity of this sacrifice, that the means of achievement of the achievable can be realized. And this is the essence of the Vidya, the mystic learning mentioned in the Vedas. The sages, bless them, didn't just accept vague spiritual platitudes. They pressed for specifics. The sages said, "Wait, we would like to be clear about this. What exactly is this great achievable you're talking about? What is this great means of achievement? And what kind of person, what sort of performer of the rite, is actually capable of achieving it? Please be precise here." Brahma replied with remarkable clarity. Firstly, the attainment of Shiva's region is the great achievable. Shiva's region refers to a state of awakened consciousness, a direct realization of the ultimate reality from which all things arise, not a physical place somewhere in the heavens. It is the experience of profound inner freedom, release from suffering, and liberation from the endless cycle of craving and dissatisfaction. It is union with the deepest source of being. Secondly, the means of achievement is the service rendered unto him. Service here doesn't mean performing rituals mindlessly. It means aligning your entire life, your thoughts, words, actions, with that ultimate reality. It means living in such a way that every moment becomes an expression of that deeper truth. And thirdly, performing the spiritual practice is someone who has let go of all desires and doesn't cling to anything, not even to the idea of lasting forever. This mindset is possible because of the grace of the divine. Brahma continued with practical guidance. The Vedas described many sacred rites or actions, and these should be performed with their results offered to Shiva. When a person acts in this spirit, they enter Salokya, the first stage of spiritual awakening, sharing the same field of consciousness as the divine, and from there they draw close to the feet of the great Lord. Everyone receives a spiritual result that matches the real level of devotion they've developed. Not what they claim, but what they have truly cultivated within. There are many paths to deepen this devotion, as Shiva himself has taught. But let me give you the heart of it. The essential method: listen to Shiva's greatness. Praise him through your words and songs. Reflect and meditate on him deeply within your mind. These three, listening, glorifying, and meditating, are the highest practices. Maheshvara is to be heard, praised, and contemplated. This is confirmed by Shruti, the sacred tradition. By relying on this simple but powerful path, all of you can reach the highest goal. When it comes to things we can see, we use our eyes and then act based on what we notice. But with the deeper, unseen aspects of reality, the spiritual truths we can't directly perceive, we first come to understand them by hearing. We listen to teachings, and that guides how we act. That's why Śravaṇa, deep and attentive listening, is the first step. A sincere seeker should listen carefully to the teacher's guidance. After that come the other practices: Kīrtana, expressing devotion through words and song; Manana, reflecting deeply and meditating on what has been heard. Brahma's voice became almost tender as he concluded. When all these steps are genuinely practiced, when you've truly listened, truly expressed devotion, truly meditated deeply, then Shiva Yoga, the gradual unification with Shiva, unfolds through stages like Salokya and the others. In this state, all suffering is eased, not just physical problems, but the inner troubles too, anxiety, despair, that gnawing sense that something's missing. From this, a profound and lasting bliss arises. I won't lie to you, the process is painful. The journey involves confronting everything you've been avoiding, releasing everything you've been clutching. But later on, everything becomes auspicious from beginning to end. Every step, even the difficult ones, reveals itself as necessary and perfect. Let me try to put into words what's striking me about this chapter, because the more I sit with it, the more I feel like it's saying something easy to miss, but incredibly important. When the sages ask, what is the achievable? I feel like they're really voicing the question beneath all our questions. What's the point of everything? Why am I doing any of this? Not in a depressed or cynical way, but honestly, after all the striving, achieving, collecting, improving, what is the actual goal of life? Brahma's response is unexpected, but also strangely fitting. He doesn't point to power, success, moral perfection, or even religious merit. He says the true goal is realization, direct experience of ultimate reality, of the source of consciousness itself. In other words, the highest achievement isn't something out there to obtain. It's awakening to what's already within us. Underneath all the noise and conditioning, there's also a beautiful paradox in his words. Devotion arises through grace, and grace arises through devotion. At first, it sounds like circular reasoning, but the more I think about it, the more it makes sense. It's not a cause and effect sequence. It's more like an awakening process that's been happening invisibly all along. The desire for truth, the pull toward the divine, those are already signs of grace. And the more I open to that pull, the more grace reveals itself. It's like the sun, always shining, even when I can't see it because of the clouds. Then Brahma outlines this threefold path: Śravaṇa, listening; Kīrtana, expressing; and Manana, deep reflection and meditation. The simplicity of it really speaks to me. There is more about these in the next chapter. Brahma also explains that there are stages to realization or ultimate liberation, moksha. This is explained much later in the text, but he does mention the first step here. Salokya, when we first sense there's something more, those moments where life feels deeper than usual. Initial stage of dwelling in the same world or sphere as Shiva. And the way to gradually progress the stages is devotion, wisdom, and non-attachment. He's basically giving us a map of an inner landscape that many people have walked before, but Brahma doesn't sugarcoat it. He says the path is painful, and honestly, I appreciate that, because real transformation means my old patterns and identities have to fall away. The parts of me that cling, avoid, grasp, they don't disappear quietly. There's friction, discomfort, sometimes fear. But he also says it's auspicious from beginning to end, which I take to mean that even the hard parts are meaningful and ultimately healing. What does this mean for us today? In one sense, this chapter is offering a kind of spiritual orientation manual. Not a promise of instant enlightenment, but an honest description of what the journey actually looks like. The goal is direct realization of the ultimate reality. Call it God, consciousness, Brahman, or the ground of being. The method is simple but demanding. Listen deeply. Express sincerely. Meditate consistently. The real challenge, especially in the world we live in, isn't access to teachings. We're flooded with them. The challenge is creating the space, both within and outside, to truly listen, to integrate, and to practice. In the end, the chapter leaves us with a question. What are you truly seeking? And are you willing to walk the path that leads to the achievable? According to Brahma, the achievable is absolutely possible. The path is clear. The only real question is whether we are ready to walk it. In our next episode, we'll continue exploring these themes and begin moving into the actual content of the Shiva Purana itself. But for now, what do you think? What resonates with you from this chapter? Share your thoughts, your struggles, your insights in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the notification bell. Until next time, keep questioning, keep practicing, and keep dancing with the mystic.